Everywhere in Bonzo Place, all were getting ready for Vine's wedding, which was today with JK. They were doing preparations for the wedding. Bonzo was happy that his only family was getting married, but was also sad because she was not ready for this marriage and it was a forced one. Vine was in her room, looking very dull. She was not ready for this marriage and she was thinking of finding ways to stop this marriage. Van loved Bonzo very much. She knew he was her only family, and if she didn't marry JK, he will finish him. Still, she can't sacrifice herself for this. After all, it was her life's decision, and she was not ready to live with that jerk. After thinking for a few minutes, she dialed her friend Somi's number and said, I have think a lot. I'm not marrying him. And what if he Somi was stopped by Vine saying, I have found a way, don't worry, I think it will work and I don't have another option. Somi, I have to take this step and you will go to the wedding venue and will pretend like you didn't know anything and rest I will handle. And then Vine told her plan. Vine was all ready to go with the plan, but one thing she didn't understood was she was playing with the king, who knows the game better than anyone. Bonzo, Somi, and JK all were present here in the wedding hall greeting the guests, and as per the news, Vine was in the dressing room getting ready. Somi was looking a little bit nervous, which was getting noticed by JK, but he didn't say anything. Bonzo was also tense, but because of the wedding. It was almost the time to call Vine, and Bonzo asked Somi to go and call Vine. Somi nervously nodded and left from there to call Vine. JK was already there on the stage, smiling broadly, looking like a grape god, dressed in his lavishly sling dress. Everyone's eyes were on him. Why not? After all, the king was about to get married. Time was passing, and JK was impatiently waiting for Vine arrival, but she wasn't coming out, neither Somi. Suddenly, he saw Somi came out looking nervous like hell. Bonzo knew Vine messed up really bad. He was worried for her that where is she because Somi told Vine is not there. She was very worried about what will happen when JK will find her. Here on the dark streets, holding her back, Van was running like wild dogs were after her. And if she stopped for a second, they will attack on her any minute. Vine was running her life out of her. She knew she had to find a place to hide herself till tomorrow morning, and tomorrow she will take a flight. And will leave this country. Silly her thinking she will be successful, didn't knew what future was holding for her. Vine was continuously running on that empty street on. Only the sound of her shoes were heard. Suddenly she stopped when she witnessed that five cars were coming from the front and stopped just in front of her, and many men in black came out of, and one of them opened the door of another car, and there he came outside. She looked at him in his eyes with sweat covering all over her face, and JK was also looking into her eyes deeply. And after a few seconds, he broke the silence and said, "So clever of you to think, my little foxy, that you can run away from me." Sue said that this line got you. JK sighed deeply, sending shiver down to her body. I knew she messed up. JK, I was in a good mood today, but you have taken the duty to spoil it, right? Well, never mind, it was fun chasing you again. Now it's time to take you back in this long step. Vine, leave me, I'm not coming with you. Vine said, gaining some courage, but all went in vain when he said that old dialogue again and again. I knew it was coming. He chuckled but became serious and said, "Let's go." And then he started dragging her to the car, and then they left. Including Bonzo and Sumi, she didn't had any other choice except to say yes to him. And just like that, press started the wedding. Just after the rituals were completed, JK didn't have her time to meet Bonzo. He started dragging her towards the car. Bonzo was looking at Vine with guilty eyes, and Sumi was also sad for her friend, but both of them couldn't do anything for her. And just like that, JK took Vine in his place. All the time, Vine was struggling, but he was unbothered. At JK's place, as soon as they entered inside JK's house, Vine didn't wait it for a second. She opened the door of the car and started running towards the main door to run. JK signaled guards to close the door, and just as Vine reached there, they closed. Vine was about to protest, but before that, she felt like she was flying in the air, and when she came in her sense, she saw that JK was holding her on his shoulder like a rag doll and was going inside the mansion. All the maids and guards were looking at this drama. Some of them were pitying Vine, but some of them were giving her jealous looks. JK came inside the room and locked the door. Then he went towards the bed and threw Vine on the bed. She bounced on the bed, but within a second she again started to run, but was filled by JK as he pulled her back and hovered over her and pinned her hands. Van was feeling uncomfortable by his touch, and suddenly he trailed his hand towards her from his cheeks, and then he touched, and without any saying or warning, he started. Van was struggling, but nothing was working for her, and there he was unbothered, enjoying her touch. After a few minutes, he stopped his action and looked at her only to see her teary eyes. Vine started breathing heavily, and there he was shamelessly checking her out. After a few seconds, she broke the silence. If you think that by doing all that, like marriage and claiming me, I will consider this relationship anything, then you are wrong. I will never give you a place in my heart or in my soul. I don't consider you my husband and never ever I will. You are nothing but just a nightmare to me. By saying that, he again tried to, but this time mine was fast enough. She somehow removed her hands from his grip and slapped him hardly on his face. Her nails got thick on his cheeks, and a little amount of blood was coming out, but he was deeply looking wine in her eyes with his red bloodshot eyes. JK again became angry, and he again pinned her hands on top and side while glaring at her. sat properly on the bed and looked at him. Go and freshen up and have tight, dreamy sleep. Today I'm leaving, but tomorrow who knows what will happen. Saying that, he touched his cheeks where she slept and looked at that blood drop and chuckled. JK left from there and Vine also went inside the changing room and cried her heart out there. Who knows what tomorrow will bring for both of their newly started life, where one was enjoying, another was crying on her pathetic state. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for next part.